questions of one and all of the panel, please. Abby, Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
please.
Hello, Chairman, members. My name is Abby Johnson. I am a former Planned Parenthood Abortion Clinic Director. I worked directly for Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast affiliate and ran one of their abortion centers. My testimony is going to specifically talk about the procedure of harvesting fetal tissue and organs. It is not true that fetal tissue is only harvested through D&E procedures. Fetal tissue is harvested through manual vacuum aspiration and also through manual vacuum aspiration and vacuum aspiration procedures. The vacuum aspiration procedure is 27 times more powerful, the suction, than a household vacuum. So it is not always a D&E that is performed. So just kind of general, and our Attorney General Paxton did a good job of talking about this. After the abortion is performed, the fetal tissue, the aborted child, is suctioned into a glass container. That glass container goes into a lab called the POC lab, the POC lab. That officially stands for Products of Conception. However, in Planned Parenthood, the joke was that it stood for Pieces of Children. And the tissue would be dumped into a glass baking dish. A little water would be squirted in there, and the POC technician, who is not medically trained in any way, would then begin pulling the parts of the baby away from each other, and depending on what was ordered by the company that we were going through. We personally went through Amphioxus Cell Technologies at Planned Parenthood and Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast, and we would pick out, depending on what was ordered, whether it was eyes, liver, the entire body. Babies are always dismembered during abortion procedures, whether it's through a D&E or an aspiration procedure. It is very rare to get intact tissue unless you are doing a procedure over 16 weeks gestation. Many times they would also be ordering extremities, legs, arms, the calvarium, which is the skull, the head. We would piece these parts and then we would put them into a biohazard Ziploc bag. That would go into a styrofoam container that had dry ice in it. That would go into our freezer that was already in the POC room. The freezer was jokingly called the nursery inside of our abortion facility. That was where all of the babies were held until a company called Stericycle would come and either take them for biohazard waste, or we would ship them to the Amphioxus Cell Technology Company. Generally, in our studies that we did, we received $200 in compensation per baby that was sent. I can assure you that there is no additional charge for collection, preservation, or storage of fetal tissue. The only additional expense would be shipping, and that's between $5 to $10 per specimen, not $200. That is sheer profit for Planned Parenthood. And let's just be a little generous here. The Planned Parenthood in Houston, off of the Gulf Freeway, their abortion quota is to perform 75 abortions every day, 6 days per week. Let's be generous here, or let's be conservative, rather, and let's say that they only charged $100 per specimen, and let's say that only 50 of the 75 women consented to harvesting this fetal tissue. That would be $100 per specimen. 50 specimens per day would be $5,000 per day. Multiply that 6 days a week, we're talking about $30,000 per week that Planned Parenthood was collecting from fetal tissue. Extrapolate that, $120,000 per month. That is certainly not recouping cost from the abortion procedure or anything relating to fetal tissue research. In fact, in the second video, Dr. Gatter, a high-level employee with Planned Parenthood, said that they don't have to do anything when it comes to harvesting fetal tissue. All they have to do is ship it out, or sometimes the technology company will actually come and pick it up directly, so there are actually no shipping costs at all. So this is very important for us to talk about. I have a lot of information that was talked about by Dishes that was actually not accurate, and I would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. I'm sure I have questions for the